Hi guys, I'm Alexye'us Paris, a Houston-based entertainer. Many of you might know me from my spectacular shows that I perform around the city. Today, I have partnered up with NASTAD to talk with Jordan Edwards, an HIV advocate here in Houston, Texas, about ending the HIV epidemic in the United States, better known as EHE, and how our local health departments can work more effectively with our club community. So this is upstairs of the Eagle. They call it the Phoenix Room. Okay. This portrait here is the inside of the original Mary's on Westheimer, which was one of the main stops when they had gay pride on Westheimer. Wow. Yes. And then up here, as you see across here, this is almost every major event that happened with the gays and the LGBT community from 1953 all the way to 2015 when marriage equality was actually approved and voted in. And then if we go here to the right, this is a list and flyer for almost every club that has pretty much ever been in Houston, starting all the way back to like 1918 something, I believe is somewhere here.
I love it. This is amazing. It's great to see this up on the wall. I appreciate you showing me this. I mean, I would never known. I think that's the piece, having somebody who has history from the city of Houston to be able to show the community. Yes. I think that's important because even though I was born and raised here, I've never noticed this.
Yes, a lot of these clubs probably were open and closed before me and you probably were born.
That's crazy. I think that's so amazing. Wow. So I know we talked about like my perspective of the health department, but I want to ask you, so like, in your walk of life, how do you feel about the health department?
The health department has actually been a great task force and reinforcement in the community since I've been here. I've worked with them several times as I've been able to do community service for different places and even running different clubs. I know when I ran Bayou City for many years that they used to come in and test and provide free condoms, etc. Okay,
so do you feel like the health department is like inclusive, or how do you feel like they can do better?
I believe they can do better by actually being more visible these days. I know back late 90s, early 2000s, they were very visible at almost every club. These days, you barely see anyone representing other than maybe a van or bus that they put in the parking lot.
I agree. I feel that is better. Allowing the health department to be more visible in the community would be beneficial for the community.
Yes, and actually having more than just a person there, because 9 times out of 10, no one's going to stop at a bus to actually see what's going on. So you have to have someone that's going to be like, hey, how you doing today? Almost like a greeter.
Right, and I think it's scary. I think a lot of times it happens. I'm at the club, like we having our drinks right now. I don't want to go outside and find out about my status, but I think that's the part of making people feel comfortable, and I think that's a good part. They can be more visible, so I agree with that. How long have you been like in Houston and dealing with the health department? Like how long have your walk of life with the health department been?
So I moved to Houston in 2002. I actually am not an advocate, but I have so many friends that I'm always around it, always involved in it.
So what about, I know that we talked about earlier, like the end of the epidemic of HIV. As far as it being a 10-year range, although you kind of understood that was new to you, how do you feel about it as far as the initiative to end HIV?
For me, it's exciting considering I came out in the late 90s when a lot of my friends and stuff were dying from it. So to know that we're finally getting to a point where it's going to be a wrap and there's hope and it's not something we have to put up with for all of our life is very exciting. And like I said, I did not know about it, so I'm very, very excited today to know that it's quickly coming to an end.
Yeah, hopefully soon, like our generation can be done with HIV and we can move forward and be able to navigate and be our best queer selves.
Yes, I cheers to that.
I know that in the community there's a big lack of trust with the health department because it's scary. I know they come out to your house and knock on your door, so people feel like that's what they're going to get. But as far as helping the community feel like they can find trust in the community, how do you feel about that?
And it's a two-way standard, and the reason why it's a two-way standard is because the workers have lives as well. So they have to be very cautious at what they post or what they do, because any little thing you do can turn someone away from wanting to get tested or be tested or come to you for help if you're a person that is not, that they feel they cannot trust. So it's all about how you carry yourself, and your dignity and your character that you display in public is what makes you trust people.
I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. You being representative and allowing yourself to be the person that's supposed to reach the population and be genuine, but still have caring and not be one type of way. I love that. So I know we talked about earlier that I'm doing advocacy, but I want to ask you, like, what's your relationship with the health department?
My relationship has pretty much always been behind the scenes, helping out where I can help out. Being a leader, staple in the community, you always have to make sure that you're there for them, helping them with fundraising. A lot of people don't realize that transgender and drag queens, we were always the front of the battle. So it's making sure that we maintain that. Sometimes I feel that we're overlooked at this day and age because drag in some areas are still important, in some areas they're not. So constantly we're actually pushed to the side sometimes. But other than that, my experience with them has been really great, really great. I just personally wish they would do more events for awareness. When you bring the community together, it lets people know that there is someone there.
So I want to thank you for allowing us to be like open and give me information, because it's a different perspective. I mean, I am a queer male, but are you identifying as a drag queen and performing and giving all the information? I think that that's good to allow people to see different types of identities. We talked about earlier about having representation. I think that you are a huge representation when it comes down to Houston. And I just want to thank you for allowing yourself to be like, sharing that with me as we've been talking. So I want to take a toast to you. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. Your opinion has been very, very validated as well.